Good evening, my dear students. Today we are going to learn chapter 5, and that is Kokila's wonderful pot. Where do we get water from? In the box below, find words from the different places where we find water. Read them across or down. There are 8 words in all. One has been done for you. So children, where do we get water? We get water from different places, isn't it? So I have found those 8 names as you can see. Just you have to find this puzzle and this will be your homework. So now let's read the story of this chapter. Come by, it was Ramkumar the special potter who always brought just one thing to sell, but that was always special. So there was one man whose name is Ramkumar and he was a potter. So potter means he used to make things made up of mud. So he used to make things from mud and it was very special one. So he used to sell the pot in the village and he used to say, come, buy my things from me. Remember how his little mud hand laid eggs, asked Manjari. Then Manjari asked, do you remember Ramkumar, the man who used to sell the things made up of mud? He bought hen and that is made up of mud and it lays egg. And his magic mud elephant helped water our perch of forest, said Seva, the farmer's wife. Okay, so the farmer's wife name is Seva. She says, yes, he gave one elephant made up of mud, mean magic mud elephant that used to give water to the forest. I want the pot he's got now. But before Sheba could grab the pot, Kokila had got it off. Then Seva says, this time I want that pot. So before she wants to take Kokila by the pot. Went Kokila to the river smiling as she saw the envy on people's faces. Then Kokila went near the river smiling as she saw envy. So children, envy means the feelings of wanting what someone else has. She shows on the people's faces. But Kokila's pot didn't like the river, it didn't like the lake, it didn't like the pond or the well. So Kokila, the magic pot she bought from Ramkumar's, this pot didn't like the river, didn't like the lake, and also it didn't like the pond or the well. Hey, come back, shouted Kokila, making little running jumps after it, right to the new water pump. Come back, pump water is not so tasty. Then Kokila shouted to the pot by saying, hey, come back. Then the pot slowly moved right to the new water pump. Then Kokila again says to the pot, come back, pump water is not so tasty. So cooking with pump water, Kokila, Seva teased her from her doorway. Then Seva teased Kokila from her doorway by saying, you will cook food with pump water? Then, why not? Said Kokila angrily. Then Kokila said angrily, why not? Pump water is good for my family. She says pump water is very good for my family. Dai keeps saying it, who listens? She whirled up to the pot and started pumping. Then children, Dai mean the health worker in the village. Okay, so she said to Seva that health worker also says that pump water is very good for health. But who listened their words? By saying this, she went to the pot and took the pot to the pump and fill the water from the pump. The pot shook. It did a jig and a jiggle and disappeared. Back it came, holding a lid. So then the pot stopped. It did jig and jiggle and disappear. So when the pot came back, it holding a lid, means when we bring water on a pot, at the top it is kept one lid, isn't it? So then water may not fall from it. So it's called a lid. Okay. Kokila always has special things, murmured Kamla. Then the other woman, Kamla, murmured at her and says, Kokila has always special things. Kokila looked angrily at the pot. It sat smiling sweetly as she filled water. It wore its lid and smiled all the way home. Then what happened? Kokila seized the pot very angrily. Then the pot gave her a sweet smile and she filled the water in it, wore its lid and smiled all the way home. Every day after that, the pot acted as if it was the lord of the house. Then what happened? Every day the pot used to act like a god. Ramu, Kokila's husband, hated Kokila's dancing around it. Then Kokila's husband name is Ramu, so he hated her dancing around everywhere. The pot wanted many things, a tool to sit on, a long-handled cup, clean hands, and Kokila had to wash the pot and dry it in the sun every day. So the pot wanted three things, and that is a tool to keep the pot and long-handled cup and a clean hands. And also the pot wants Kokila should wash the pot every day and dry it in the sun. Then one day Ramu's finger dipped into the water pot and the pot flew out of his hand. So one day Ramu's finger dipped into water pot, then the pot flew out of the Ramu's hand. You, Ramu said. He took the pot and threw it down before Kokila could stop him. Then what happened? Ramu said you to the pot and stopped it and threw it down before Kokila could stop him. Kokila cried and cried. It's a year since the pot came to our home. Since then, Goody has not fallen sick even once. Oh, what will I do now? So, after all that happened, Kokila cried and says, it's been a year I bought this pot to our house. Since then, our daughter Goody had not fallen sick even once. Oh, now what will I do now? But that night she had a wonderful dream. There was her pot. It said, Kokila, I was not magic. Any pot will keep Goody healthy if you treat it well. How? Kokila was puzzled. So when the pot had broke that night, she had a wonderful dream that there was her pot. The pot says, I was not magic. Any pot will keep your daughter Goody healthy if you treat it well. After hearing what pot says, she was puzzled and says, how can it be possible? Remember all the things you did for me, said the pot. Then the pot says, do you remember what the things that you had done for me? Kokila smiled. I all miss you, dear pot, she said softly. how can I say thank you? Then Kokila smiles at it and says, I will miss you, dear pot, in a soft voice, and says, how can I thank you that you had done for me? Just by talking to the other woman about this, said the pot as it slowly disappeared. Then the pot says, just by saying to the other women about me, by saying this, it slowly disappeared. Today, if Kokila's village is the healthiest village in the whole area, you know why? So, do you know today why Kokila's village is the healthiest village around whole area? It's because she used to keep the pot very nicely every day, and she used to clean and dry it in the sun every day. It used to keep in the tool and used the water by long handled cup and always keep her hand clean. If you keep your pot clean and use it in a clean hand, then you will always stay healthy. So that's why it's not a magic. If you keep yourself clean always, then you will stay healthy always. So that was the moral of the story. I think you all have understood. So till then, thank you.